guys, it's Kristen of K-Stikes Designs. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to walk you through my daily and weekly regimen. What's great about what I do on a daily and weekly basis is anybody can do it. It doesn't matter if you're relaxed or not. So one thing I particularly want to touch on today is origin. So I want to impart what my processes are, what products I use, and where I got these processes from. I am so happy to finally join the YouTube community and start an official channel and be able to touch people and really talk to how to grow my hair in full. That was always really difficult to do in one single conversation. And one thing I want to note is that YouTube is a great resource. It is a great source of information. It is the second most used search engine behind Google, but it's not the only source. It's a good resource, but it's not the only resource. And I honestly never watched YouTube. I've really looked up specific things I wanted to know, like how to make rice water or how to make a wig from scratch, right? But I've never really just sat and watched YouTube like on the topic of how to grow hair. I guess because I already had long hair. I've had a lot of really impactful influencers in my life, and they might not even know that my hair health is what it is because of them. So I want to make sure that I shout them out. I'm going to break my regimen down into 5 categories. First, protective styling. That's what I'm doing right now. I've got some Queen Latifah Set It Off braids underneath a wig, and it really kind of mimics my own hair straightened. But I've been protective styling since 2009, and it has made a world of a difference. Protective styling, by definition, is a style where your ends are protected and you cannot comb through your hair. So that's something like braids, a sew-in, buns. The idea of keeping your hands out of your hair is what really helps to grow it. So here's my hair in 2008, before I really had a healthy regimen. Then I started protective styling in 2009. Here's 2010. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it works, right? A classmate named Adina Johnson started wearing sew-ins, and then it seems like in a summer, boom, her hair was just down her back. And I'm like, what the heck have you been doing to your hair? Oh, my hairstylist just says, just leave it alone, moisturize it underneath, and it grew. So that is who influenced me to begin protective styling. Now for cleansing. While my hair is down, I do wash my hair every week. But while my hair is braided, I will cleanse it every other week. Black hair does not need to necessarily be cleansed with shampoo for every single wash. So I like to alternate cleansing methods. For the most part, my cleansing methods fall into 2 categories. Either I use a co-wash, which means you wash your hair with conditioner, a cheapy conditioner. I use Aussie Miracle Moist, but Herbal Essences, Suave, whoever you like will work. It doesn't matter. Any little cheapy $5 type conditioner that you actually would not think would be good for black hair is what I suggest using. So for a pre-poo, I have a few different options. You can use aloe vera, and I'll post a link below to me preparing my aloe vera, which is basically just to scoop out the pulp, blend it, throw some oil in it, throw it in your hair, and let it sit for 20 minutes before washing. Or you can use Olaplex. And again, let me give credit where it's due. My hairstylist suggested using Olaplex, so I've integrated that into my regimen since the summer. Wet your hair, apply it. I let it sit for at least 20 minutes. Then lastly, you can also use a cheapy conditioner. So you can pre-poo again with this Aussie Miracle Moist. Herbal Essences Hello Hydration is what I used in the past. Kind of wet your hair, detangle it, throw in that conditioner and oil mix, let that process with heat for a good 20-30 minutes or so, then proceed to washing with a sulfate-free shampoo. My first shampoo option is the ORS Scalp Rescuing Detox Shampoo. It's sulfate free, but also makes me feel like the dirt has been removed from my hair. So that's my first option for sure. And then my second option is KeraCare Hydrating Detangling Shampoo. Just get yourself a good sulfate-free option and you will be good. Within the topic of cleansing, I'd say just about every 6 to 8, should probably be more like 6 weeks or so, I perform a clarifying wash. So I will use the ORS Creamy Aloe Shampoo. Now this is both a clarifying and neutralizing shampoo. It is strong enough to neutralize your relaxer. So that's telling you that definitely really strips your hair. I want to purposely remove any dirt and any buildup I've had so that my hair can always get the nutrients that it's supposed to when I'm conditioning and doing other steps. I was introduced to ORS through my mom. So my mom started growing locks when I was in elementary school. I'm 30, so this was a good 1996 or 7. So I've been using ORS products for 23, 24 years. While on her lock journey, she started looking for different products, but there weren't any besides ORS. So my mom went to Essence with a mass gospel choir she was singing in, and she saw a ORS booth. So this is what introduced her to ORS products. Here's my mom's hair. When her hair is in a ponytail, it's butt length, and she strictly uses ORS products, so ORS will always be a part of my regimen. Next, we have conditioning. When I apply conditioner, it's gonna be processed with heat, either a steamer or cover it with a plastic cap and sit under a dryer for at least 30 minutes. To be honest, it's typically more like an hour. Might be a little extra, but it's what I do. I'm gonna split conditioning into 3 categories as well. So we have moisturizing, light protein, and then I'll tackle heavy protein. For my moisturizing option, I like Hydratherma Naturals Moisture Boosting Conditioner. I've seen a lot of people promoting KeraCare Humecto. I mean, I don't dislike it, but I don't like it neither. I mean, it gets the job done. But I do keep it in my regimen because it's one of the very few moisturizing conditioners that I found that legit don't have any protein in it. Protein conditioners contain ingredients like keratin, egg, or hydrolyzed anything. So hydrolyzed collagen, corn, soy, wheat, all that is a protein. Then for light protein, my absolute favorite light protein is the ORS Hair Mayonnaise. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And what I really like about this one is that it's both moisturizing and protein based. The 2 prominent proteins are egg powder and hydrolyzed collagen, and they're kind of in the middle of the list. That's another thing to note. When you're trying to figure out how much protein a product has in it, you need to pay attention to how many proteins are in it and how close they are to the top of the list. And this will typically help you figure out if it's a light protein or more of a heavy duty, really serious protein. My second light protein option comes from Hydratherma Naturals. It is the Amino protein conditioner that they have. So 12 years ago, I got on Google and I searched, how to grow long hair for Black women. So this is before YouTube, 12 years ago. And Renice had something called a Faki. So this is a social media platform that never took off. You've probably never heard of something called a Faki. And she outlined her entire regimen. She mentions the idea of alternating using a moisturizing and protein conditioner. Let's put the idea of alternating your cleansers and conditioners into practice. Week 1, you see me use a COWASH, and then on week 2, you see me use a PRE-POO followed by a shampoo. During conditioning for week 1, I used a moisturizing conditioner, and then on week 2, I flipped to the ORS Hair Mayo, which is light protein. On average, I do alternate nearly every other week on a perfect cadence. However, that's not always the case, and that's not what the word alternate has to mean for you either. There are times where I have to be a little bit more responsive instead of sticking to a schedule, so let's see an example of that. Let's say after we washed and conditioned during week 2, I started using a new moisturizer, and there are some ingredients in it that my hair just does not agree with. This new daily moisturizer is weighing my hair down, there's buildup and residue, my hair is oily and heavy. I would most likely shampoo instead of applying a co-wash. Then continuing to adjust, I would most likely incorporate my co-wash on week 4. Here's another scenario. Let's just say it's week 4 and I notice my hair is kind of dry. I would deviate from using a light protein and instead just use a moisturizing conditioner, and that's perfectly okay to use a moisturizing conditioner back-to-back weeks. So within conditioning, the last category would be heavy duty protein. I don't use a heavy duty protein except like maybe every 8 weeks or so. It's not something you should do very often. And the 2 options that I have for a heavy duty protein, I either use rice water. I'll apply the rice water like a pre-POO, wash it out, and then use a moisturizing conditioner. And I have a video on that. I'll put the link below. Or I'll use a firm 5-in-1. So I know the lock method is really popular. The lock method stands for a leave-in or a liquid, oil, and then cream. Some people believe that this is the order that you should apply those products to your hair, and that is not what is effective for me. I've got to flip the C and the O. So I like LCO. I apply a liquid, cream, and then an oil just about on an every other day cadence. Sometimes if my hair is dry, it just might be every day. So for my liquid, there is a mix that I make. Now this is one thing I can say I got from You Love Megs. So she uses rose water, but you can also just use water, glycerin, aloe vera juice, a little oil, and then a few drops of lavender oil. Nearly any combination of those ingredients will work. I've seen people just use water. I've seen people use water and glycerin. I've seen people use water and oil. I've seen people just use aloe vera juice. I've seen people use aloe vera juice and glycerin. You get where I'm going? That's the thing about a regimen. Like, it's all about figuring out what works for you. And then for my cream, I really like the ORS carrot oil cream or olive oil moisturizing lotion. I have always been someone who pushed or suggested people to use the carrot oil cream because it was mineral oil and petroleum free. In the beauty community, a lot of people view petroleum and mineral oil. They really view those two as filler products. They're kind of frowned upon. I've always read that for the last few years, but again, I've never really watched YouTube. I've never really been a part of any type of hair community, and I really kind of stepped into that this summer. And now I'm finding all these long, relaxed women with hair just as long, if not way longer than mine, all use the ORS olive oil moisturizing lotion. I was like, dang, I wanted to hate that so bad because it has petroleum and mineral oil in it, or one of the two. But now I need to humble myself because it's also cheaper than the other one. So now you sit here wasting money. So yeah, I started using it. I just have loyalty to their carrot oil cream. I just can't let it go because I just feel like it's more highfalutin. It needs to be in my head. I don't know. Okay, and then for my oil choice, this is another one of those things that are just completely up to you. I did a porosity test earlier this year, and sometimes the oil that your hair likes best might align with the porosity of your hair. The porosity of your hair is how well your hair holds on to moisture. And I have low porosity hair, so my hair holds on to moisture too much. And heavier oils really weigh my hair down. And I had the unfortunate reality of having to switch to a lighter oil. So I use grapeseed. Girl, why are you mad? It's not even that deep. I use grapeseed oil, and I mean, it has been better for my hair, even if I don't want to admit that. And then I also note that some people completely throw porosity out the window and they don't care, and they're gonna use what they wanna use. I can say on a daily basis, I will grease my scalp with castor oil. It's just way too heavy to put that on my hair. I always use grapeseed or jojoba, one of the lighter oils. We have to trim our ends. You have to let go of what's dead so it won't negatively impact your healthy strands. Considering how often I protective style, I typically don't really need to trim a lot because my ends are always covered, safe, and kept away from damage, like your clothing or the elements. When it's time to get a trim once a quarter, my hair is typically grown about 2 inches, but I only have to remove less than a ½ inch. Here's a high-level recap. I protective style for at least 1 week at a time.
I alternate cleansing methods, so I'm not using a shampoo for every wash. I alternate between using a moisturizing and protein conditioner. Moisture is applied almost every day through my LCO method, and I inspect if it's time for a trim every single quarter. I really wanted to share
what I do and who I adopted my regimen from, and say thank you to the people who have influenced me. If you want to grow long hair, you can. You just have to learn something new and stick to it. I know the discipline can be a lot. I know I just said a lot. I promise I did not develop that regimen overnight. I'm not saying this is the absolute one way to grow your hair. Take the pieces that you think are realistic for you and apply some of those, and maybe even expand later and apply a few more. Happy growing, guys. Bye.